Hello there, and welcome to Wellness Watch. I'm Patty Friedman, and I'm here with Judy McEwen, who has been one of my cohorts and friends for a long time. And we're happy that you're out there watching us. And today we're mixing it up a little bit. And in the past, we've kind of had conversations, and we referred to them as the fireside chats. But we've gotten feedback and received some comments that it would be great to have some demonstration or see actual movement and fitness exercises. And we've talked about balance, we've talked about functional training, we've talked a lot about those things. So today we thought we'd share some of those and actually invite you to join us as we do some of the exercises.
Because they're things they can do
at home
where they're sitting right now.
Yeah. So get comfortable, get relaxed. But before we get into some of those movements, I just wanted to thank Judy for being here with me, because Judy has been a trooper through many, many shows, and she is going to be leaving and moving. So this is her official last show. Yeah. So I wanted to thank you for everything that you've done.
I'm happy to do one last shot and to say, first of all, if I don't get a chance another time, thank you to everyone who has supported my and other people's shows over the years. It's been a joy, and who knows, I may pop in again in another year.
There you go.
I'm a little far away.
You're always a guest. Welcome back.
Thank you. I will let you know.
Always. And you know what? You can watch the shows.
Yes, I can.
And give feedback.
I'll be in the audience.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
Good. So some of the things before we get started is to think about before and when you are getting ready to start a fitness program. Little reminders are, number one, most important is to check in with your doctor.
Yeah.
We always say that you don't want to start anything without the advice, direction, because we don't know what you're doing, what your physical and medical history is, and it's really important to make sure you do the right things, and always to think about modifying and adjusting. So things that we do here today may not work for you, but please make sure that you at least give some of them a try. Put them in your back pocket, and then give us feedback if you want to reach out, and we can help you modify them yourself.
We could hear, actually, if this isn't good for you, we could do.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that to you. You're the pro.
Yeah, well.
You're the teacher.
We'll do it together,
All
for
right.
sure. And I just wanted to point out some simple things. We've got some resistant bands, and we've got some hand weights, and we've got a mat on the floor. Those are some basic equipment that doesn't cost a lot of money. So getting active and doing some training, functional training, and movement exercises is really simple and not expensive. And most importantly, you'll see we've got water here.
Yep.
Always stay hydrated when you're exercising, because that's really
That's
important.
number
as
one
well.
to me.
Yeah. So, all right, Judy, let's sit out on the edge of our seats.
Oops. Before I destroy the mat, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Okay.
So when we think about doing chair exercises, we want to sit on the edge, but it's also important to think about sitting upright. And please join in and give feedback as we're going.
No, this is important, not to be bending over when
Yeah,
you're...
so you don't want to slouch. I always say keep your spine stacked. You want to keep, and your head is part of your spine, so keep your head in line with your spine. And we're just going to put our hands down by our sides and sort of look at your alignment of how your knees and your feet are, and try and get the perfect 90 degrees, feet, knees, hips all lined up. And you want to be comfortable. Don't get tense and relaxed.
And don't dress up.
And don't dress up, yeah. Most importantly, you can see we dress down, or this is probably
This
our
is casual
normal.
Tuesday.
Yeah, this is our normal attire, right? We
Yeah, a lot.
spend our life in this. But you want to be comfortable, and you don't even have to have shoes. You can do it in bare feet, but be comfortable. So now that you're all in line, everybody's sitting there nice and tall, we're going to put arms down by our shoulders. And I kind of think about starting from the top and working your way down, or from the bottom and working your way up. So we're going to start at the top, and we're just going to slowly bring an ear over to one shoulder. And you don't want to bring the shoulder up to the ear. And then we're going to bring it out back to neutral and bring it back over to the other side. Good. And just nice and slow, feel that stretch, and then bring it back to the center. And then we're going to bring our chin down to our chest and keeping those shoulders down and relaxed. And then we're going to bring it up. Perfect. All right, now let's look to the left and look over our shoulders and just stretching that neck. Good. And you want to hold these stretches for a couple seconds, and then we're going to come over to the right. Anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds as you're going through it, and we're going to bring it back to the front. Now we're going to repeat that because it's always good to do a second time. So let's bring our left ear over to our left shoulder. And hold that for a couple seconds, 5 or so, and then we're gonna bring it up. And we're kind of gonna go through this fast today, faster than you might normally, but we're gonna give you an idea of what those exercises should be. And let's bring it back to the center, and again, let's bring our chin down to our chest, and pushing those shoulders down and back, feel that stretch in the neck, and then bring it up. And now let's turn to the left and look who's over to that side. And now we're gonna bring it back over to the right, and look over the right shoulder. Perfect. And then let's bring it back to the center so we're back in neutral position. Now let's take those shoulders up and push them back and just slowly do circles. How's that feel?
Always feels good,
Doesn't it?
always.
Yeah.
Before and after exercise.
Right, right. So just lifting, squeezing back, and bringing them down and around. Fabulous, looks good. So we're just gonna do a couple more. Awesome. Great. And now let's go the other way. So now you're gonna push it back and lift them forward. And you may find that as you do these exercises, you feel your muscles starting to warm up. And I like to think of my muscles as a rubber band. And you think about when it's not been used and it's been sitting in a drawer and you go to pull it out. If it's not warmed up, what can happen?
Bang, rip, tear,
Wrap,
whatever.
rip, tear, snap. And so that's what we're really doing with our muscles. We want to get them warmed up. And let's do one more and bring those arms down by your side. Perfect. Now we're going to take both hands and we're going to take a deep breath and sweep up as high as you can and then bring them back down. Great. So now we're going to start warming up those shoulders. And always, always, always make sure that we're breathing. Now, probably that should have been one of those things that I mentioned right off. It's very easy to hold your breath at times,
It
right?
is. Oh, we all do it.
We all do it. And it's really important to make sure that you're exhaling and not holding your breath. And rule of thumb, and I don't remember where I heard this, Judy, but one of the little tips that I like to think about is when you exert, you exhale.
Yeah.
EX, exert, exhale.
Yep.
And let's do one more time, and then let's hold those arms up overhead. And now let's just reach one side up for the ceiling, and then one other side up. So you're pulling a rope up above you, and reach for the ceiling, and up, and climbing. Higher you go. And let's do one more time each side. Fabulous. And now let's bring both arms back down slowly. Don't let them drop. Always have control of those muscles. And you can just shake it out. And how does that feel? So far, so good?
Excellent.
All right. Now, we're going to take both hands, and we're going to turn and rotate and reach for the arm of the chair. Perfect. And then we're going to come over to the other side. And if you don't have arms on your chair, which we do here, but if you're doing like a kitchen chair or something that doesn't have arms, I'm going to demonstrate, Judy's going to use the arm of the chair, and I'm going to demonstrate what you can do without the arm of the chair. You want to just bring your hands over to your hips and look over your shoulder, and then bring it back to the other side. So you don't need to have arms on a chair to do this, but what we're doing is warming up that midsection and just rotating that mid obliques and your back, just getting it slow movement, nothing fast. Let's do one more each time, Judy.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. And let's come back over to the other side. Good.
Sometimes stretching is the best part of an exercise.
Right.
You just feel it.
Yeah.
You've done it right. You're warming up and then you're cooling off. It's all good.
And you know, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to take up a lot of time.
Right.
And just
Or space.
Or space. And just those simple movements that we did, everybody can do these every morning when you get up. I mean, read the paper, have your cup of coffee, go through your stretches, and then your body is already
Do them
starting.
again at night.
And then there you go.
There's not too much, no such thing as too much.
Start your day and
stretching.
end your day, right?
Yep.
All right, so we've got the upper body,
Yep.
feeling pretty good. So now we're going to go down to our hips and get some hip flexors. So we're going to take our right leg, and we're just going to lift up and put it back down. And lift up. And let's alternate legs. We'll go to right.
I forgot the alternating memo.
I probably didn't give very good direction. Sorry about that. And it's just a small movement. And the thing with this that I find a lot with some of the classes that I teach is we want to make sure that we're driving the movement from our hip because a lot of times people will start to do this rocking. Right? And that becomes the back, and it's really not the hip flexor that's doing the movement. So think about lifting from the hip flexor, and like we said again, it doesn't have to be big. You're not trying to be high with that movement. Good.
It's awesome.
Feel good?
It always does.
All right, so now let's take that movement, but we're going to add a lateral movement. So we're going to step the foot out to the side, and we're going to lift it back up and in. And let's do the left leg. Lift it up and out, and lift it back in. Good. And lift it out, and lift it in. Good. So now we get a little bit of a lateral, getting outside the center of that body, working those hips. Great. Awesome. Good. Perfect. And out. And let's do one more each leg. Great. And out and in. So now we've got those hips warmed up.
Warming up.
All right, so now we're going to go down to the ankles. So have those feet lined up again, and we're just going to lift our heels. And was that?
Did I crack?
And that's what you'll find out there.
I cracked my heel.
She's cracked.
I cracked.
Are you cracked?
My foot sure is.
And that, we can talk about that because just these little movements will help get
That's right.
joints lined up and get some of that air out of there that might be taking up space. And so it's good to move your joints, move that body. Good.
And doing these when you're standing is kind of a good thing too, every now and then. I know we're doing sitting, but it feels good when you're up against a wall or not. Just
Yeah.
lift them up. They get ignored.
They do. So we're working on our calves. Let's do one more. And now we're going to do our toe lifts. So we're going to lift and down. And again, this is just a small movement, but you're going to work on the shins and get those ankles flexing up. And just
Sometimes the small movements you feel more than big ones. For some reason you feel this all the way up.
right?
And look how little this is.
Yeah. And we take it for granted. I mean, this is a movement that you do every time you walk, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to
Yeah.
flex.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we keep those.
Keep it warmed.
Right. Let's do one more. Now we're going to alternate that. So we're going to lift up our heels and then rock back on our toes. And these, again, we talked about in the morning, at night, but why not when you're sitting watching TV?
Exactly.
Or
Because this is a place where you feel these, and you might not do a lot of things where you do feel. Exercising brings out muscles that you haven't used in daily
right.
life
Right.
often.
And we're just hoping that people will find some part of this program that they say, oh yeah, I get it. I understand how these movements can benefit.
I already feel like I've worked out a little bit
Right.
throughout what we started, and
And
everything's awake.
the blood is flowing.
The blood is flowing.
And that's good. And it's not, our heart rate's not going to elevate a lot, but yet you're
But
getting
you're feeling like
the
you're
body
doing
moving.
something significant.
Let's do one more each way. Good. All right. Now, we're going to sit to stand, and this is one of those moves that we want to make sure people think about this when you're doing this, is if you have arms on your chair, then please feel free to use them. And when you stand up, you want to think about the movement coming from the bottom of your feet, pushing up through the legs into the quads, and when you get all the way up, to stand nice and tall and straight. So let's do it first with our
Okay.
hands, and you're going to assist yourself, and we're going to stand up. And we
And
come
you
nice
feel
and
it
tall.
all from the knees down.
Right?
Yeah.
And now, when you sit down, it's fine to reach back, but I always want to think about, okay, there's an egg on my chair, and I don't want to break the egg. I don't want to scramble the
Right.
egg. So you're going to lower yourself back, and it's fine to look back, see where the arms of the chair are, and then you control the movement so you're right back where you were. Perfect.
Perfect.
Let's do that again. One more time, assisted. So we're assisted in movement coming up. Great. And then we're going to come down. We're going to find the arms and lower ourselves down. And our goal is to get to the position. So we're really working on getting those quads strong.
Right.
So we want to go with out our arms. Okay, so here we go. We're going to stand
There
up.
we go.
Good. And then we're going to lower ourselves back down, controlled. Good. And let's do it again. And come on up. And come on down.
And what they don't realize is you're doing a squat.
Right.
Which if someone said do some squats, you'd say, eh. But
Exactly.
this is a squat.
Yeah, we're squatting and we're coming down. And let's sit and talk about that a little bit, because the next move we're going to do is I call the hover. And it's basically a form of a squat.
Yep.
And a lot of times when we think about squatting, people have the tendency to what? Put their weight
They're leaning
forward.
over, yeah.
Right? So let's stand on up and think about that. So when we sit down and your hips are going back towards the chair, where does your weight go? Back on your heels,
Yep.
right? And you can wiggle your toes. If you lean forward and put your knees forward, and then you have to lean forward to get to your
Yeah,
chair,
it's a lot more work.
it's a lot more work and it's uncomfortable, right?
Oh, it doesn't feel easy.
So we're going to do what I call the hover. So we're going to go halfway down. So we come down like we're going to sit, we hover, and then we're going to come back up. There you go. Good. So we're going to come down, we're going to hover, and we're going to come back up. And what are we doing?
Squatting.
Squatting. So hover or squats are basically the same thing.
And the key really is emphasis on your heels.
Right.
Your toes should be able to come up.
Right. You should be able to wiggle your toes,
Yep.
sitting back on your heels. And now we've had enough, so we're going to sit back in our chair. Same form, same position. Find your chair and sit. Hey, nice job.
I'm warm.
You're warmed up, ready
Yeah,
to go,
sure.
right? All right.
Squatting does that to you.
Squatting does do that to you. All right, so we're going to do one more thing while we're standing up. Okay, so let's come back up to a standing. And you had talked a little bit about going up on the toes and the heels.
Yeah.
So let's do that again while we're standing. Now, for some, I don't want to move too much out of the camera, but I'm going to just, you stay in front of the chair.
Yep.
I'm going to go behind the chair. And if you're at home and you're doing this and you feel like from a balance standpoint, you need to have more support, go behind your chair and have your hands here. And we're going to go up on our toes and come on back down. And up on your toes. And as you progress with this, you can go to just a fingertip on your chair, or you can lift one hand until you get to where Judy's at, because she's doing so well and awesome. And up and down. So there's options for you when you're at home to work on your balance and support.
And it's important for people to know that we've talked about this before in our past, that you don't need a gym. If you can't do a gym or don't want to do a gym, you can feel pretty worked out if you do lots of things at home that aren't that hard.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of work. It doesn't take a lot of energy to do this as if you make the commitment.
Right.
And you think about, okay, my heart rate might come up a little, my muscles might feel like, oh, I think it was what you said earlier, is like, oh yeah, I can feel muscles that I haven't worked
Totally.
before. And you're going to. That's part of this, right?
Totally.
And that's our goal, is to get people to start thinking about moving more. You know, I like to get away from the word exercise,
Yeah.
because exercise really scares people.
It sounds serious and structured and formal and a big deal to do. It's not a big deal to sit in your living room. You do it every day.
Right. It's all about movement. So now let's talk about stretching, because we've done movements. So now our muscles are warmed up. And now at the other end, and we're really trying to do this in a 30-minute where you're not taking a lot of time, we want to make sure that we stretch our body as well. So let's take one leg, because we just did some hamstrings and quads, and we're going to put our leg out in front. And thinking about what your other leg is doing, we want to keep it lined up. We're going to slowly lower our body forward, coming down until you feel a stretch. Now the foot is flexed, coming back towards you. And you want to hold that stretch. Now, some people might be able to come out and get their toe. That's totally fine. You want to try and get that leg as straight as you can, because what we're trying to do is stretch the hamstring up into the glutes, up into the low back. And then you're going to slowly lower raise yourself up. Again, body stacked. And then we're going to do it again. And each time, you try and go a little bit further, holding that stretch. Yeah, again.
And you feel every minute of this.
Right?
Your hamstring lets you know when it's
It
being
says,
worked.
hello.
Hello, what are you doing to me?
You woke me up, and let's do it one more time. So I like to say for stretches to hold them for 10 seconds. And I try to do 3 repetitions on each side. And each time I try to take that stretch a little bit further. And then let's come on up. Fabulous. Let's bring that leg in, and let's do
We
the
probably
other
have
side.
another leg, right?
We do.
Oh, okay.
Good thing we only have 2.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, here we go. Let's just straighten it out and then lower it down. Now, some people are going to say, but my knee bends. I can reach further if I get to my knee. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you straighten your leg, you're going to get more of a stretch in that hamstring, and just don't go as far. What you don't want to do is push down on the joint. You just want to reach, okay? And hold that stretch.
I see I have to stop here.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Everybody's different, and that's good. And it's really important for the audience to know that everybody's range of motion
Yeah.
is going to be different. And this is about what you can do
Totally individual.
independently.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come down again. So you only go as far as you can. Hold it for those 10 seconds or so. And you can even can't you even feel that muscle stretching as we're here,
It's
right?
moving. I mean, it really feels alive. It's incredible.
Yeah. And then come on up. Good. And we're going to do it one more time on this side.
We can do it.
We can.
I'm getting further down my shoe.
Good. Yes, you are. You are. Good. And then let's come on up and sit up.
Now that, to me, is a really big deal.
Yeah.
If you do that at home, you will feel worked over or out or whatever.
You can feel the muscles
Both.
moving and feeling.
It's no question you know what you're hitting when you do those.
Yeah. You
And
can.
it's very dramatic.
It feels it. All right. So let's work on our back.
Okay.
So we're sitting up nice and tall, and I like to think of your back and your spine. Your vertebrae are stacked, right? So what we want to do is start at the top of the head, and we're going to roll ourselves down. Let the arms hang by your leg, and we're just going to bring our upper body forward and reaching those hands down beside those feet, and you're just going to let that head relax. You should be able to move the head freely, and then we're going to start at the base of your spine, and you're going to start to roll your body up. And we're going to stack that spine back up. And think about your spine as a string of pearls. And each pearl is stacked one at a time on top of each other.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go down again.
And this will feel good, actually, to you.
Yeah, we're going to roll down. Good. And we're still breathing. Please don't stop breathing. That's never a good thing, right?
You know, she needs you.
Yes. And then let's roll back up. Fabulous. And stacking that spine on top. And let's go down one more time.
It feels so good.
Doesn't
You
it?
know, the back, yeah.
And you notice that we go slow. It's not a fast movement. It's stretching and flexibility should be a controlled, slow movement. And let's come back up. And sitting up nice and tall. And open that chest and bring those shoulders back.
It really feels good.
Feels good? All right, so we didn't do a lot with hands, but I want to talk a little bit about stretching the hands just because with particularly the senior population,
Yeah.
they get a lot of arthritis, and joint mobility is really an issue for them. So let's just take our hands and open them up in front of us, and we're going to make a fist, and then we're going to just open them up and stretch as wide as we can, and make a fist, and open up and stretch as wide as we can, and make a fist, and stretch and open up. And now we're going to take each finger and bring it to the thumb. And work your way down, each finger, and then work your way back. Good. And again, doing it, good. And then bring it back. And now I like to say, play your piano. I do not play the piano, but this is the only way I can. You can tell. I know I should be going like this, right?
No.
And we're going to go side to side and just shake out those hands and fingers. And then let's bring those hands back to the neutral position and put your hands out in front, drop those wrists down, and then flex the fingers up. So this is going to get our wrists. And drop them down, and flex them up. And now let's make circles. Good. And go the other way. Oh, there's another crack. You're getting everything worked out.
This is why I exercised.
And let's bring them down. And let's just do a couple shoulder rolls because we're kind of working our way back through that body. We started at the bottom, as you notice, and we're starting to come back up to the top. And let's go the other way. Good. Feeling good. Good. And then hold it down and just shake it out. I always like to shake it out. And we're going to do the next stretch just to end. Bringing an ear over to one shoulder. And then bring it up and over to the other side. Good. And back to the center. And chin to chest. And look up. And now turn to the left. And we're going to turn to the right. Good, and come back to the center. And how do you feel?
I feel like I've just exercised.
Great.
And I exercise a lot.
Yeah.
But in a different setting, a different way, approach, it all feels new,
Great.
which is something I hope everyone out there is going to experience.
Okay, and I always like to end with one, with all my classes, I always think breathing is really important. So we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to take a deep breath in, and we're going to exhale out. And we're going to take a deep breath in, and exhale out. And let's do one more. Take a deep breath in, and exhale out. And let's open those eyes. And breathing is so important. You can get mindfulness. You can just take
Yeah.
yourself to another place.
Yeah.
You feel relaxed. You feel good. And really, we took 25 minutes maybe and worked from head to toe.
And I hope you all appreciate what she put together, because it really is all body, every interview that needs to be attended to, but you're not going to feel sore, I don't think. You're going to feel like you have some ideas in your head for when you are sitting a lot, if you do, and just keep moving. You can move in your chair. You can do all kinds of things watching TV. I hope no one watches me, but if I did, you can do this at home without
Right.
any guidance.
Yeah.
That was a good drill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And there's so many modifications and changes that we can make to any of these routines. So if somebody has something that they might, whether it's a shoulder injury or a hip replacement
Yeah.
or a knee replacement, there's modifications and changes. The most important thing I think that you and I both know is movement is so important.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be big movement. It doesn't have to be fast movement. You can do it at home, in your chair.
You can.
And get great
and then
results.
if you can, add some walking, inside or outside. You can
Yep.
pace your house if you so desire. But I think this is such a great base for people to figure out what to do when you aren't going out to do it. And you really hit it all.
Great. Well, thank you, Judy.
My pleasure.
High five.
My
Awesome
pleasure.
job. Get a buddy, have fun, get moving,
Yeah.
and reach out to me if you have any questions about any of the things that you've seen today. And come back and see us again next time, because we'll try and add more exercises and variations of ways that you can improve your overall
Right.
health. It's very important. So
You're
for
just going to
now,
have to do it without me. Poor
I
you.
know. Well, I know you'll be there in spirit.
I'm moving to Colorado, people, so but I'll take all this with me. I have a gym already picked out, and I am moving all the time.
Yes, good. Well, happy trails to you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll miss you,
Well, I'll miss you.
but I know that you'll be doing the right things out there.
We are.
All right.
Okay.
For now, take care, happy days, and we'll see you next time on Wellness Watch.
See, you must have seen his hand. I didn't, so.
Yeah.